I'm going to show you how we heat our house without spending hundreds of pounds in our off-grid home in the middle of the woods. It's our first winter here, and some things are working really well with the heating and some things aren't quite as good as we'd hoped for. They say wood keeps you warm 3 times. You fell the tree, you split it, then it goes on your fire. So our house is set in 22 acres of woodlands, and as you can see here, this is ash. At the moment in Britain we have an ash disease, so probably a quarter of our woodland is made of ash, and it's all dying, and that is our wood source for the moment. What we don't do is we don't remove all the ash, because it's super important to leave some dead standing ash, which is really good for biodiversity. But the other stuff we're taking down and using for our logs. Once we finish using up all the ash, there'll still be lots of ash in the woodland. We can then start coppicing. This is an oak tree here, a smallish oak. If we cut it at the base, coppicing allows it to regrow, so you have all that energy in the roots, which will start pushing up into a trunk again, and that can be recoppiced every 20-30 years or something. So basically there's not going to be any point where we're going to run out of timber. We have so much timber in this woodland. Firewood is just not going to be a problem. Okay, so this is the log burner. Logs go in here, ash and stuff comes out here. This is a 25 kilowatt log burner, and the reason I got this one specifically is because it doesn't need electricity. A lot of these sort of wood boilers have a fan which kind of pumps the air through faster and gets it hotter, but this one's great. It doesn't have any electricity, so when we're off grid, that's really important, just to, you know, all these little things, fans here and there, kind of add up. So this is great, no electricity. So over here, this is our water tank. This acts as a big thermal store. It's 1,500 litres, so it's massive. I found this online, and it's second hand, picked it up. In here there are 2 stainless steel pipes within the tank, so the hot water for the showers comes in through here and is a heat exchange through that coil pipe, and then goes down underground to the house. And then it's the same with the heating pipe as well. There's another coil in here, so the water that's in here is just hot water, and it doesn't, we're not sort of, the tap that's coming out of the shower isn't that bit. It's all just done through a heat exchange. Hopefully that makes sense. So this log burner, it's not quite roasting yet, but this heats up water in here, and that water just naturally goes, because heat rises, comes up through here, goes into the tank, and then there's a pipe below here that goes into the bottom of the log burner. And that's it. It's really simple. There's, you know, a few other things, like there's a header tank to make sure there's always water in there. But as soon as that's going, it just heats that up, and then the heat exchangers in there take the water to where we want, or the heat to where we want. What's really important is that the logs are dry. They need to be 15 to 20% moisture in them, and wet logs have half the efficiency of dry logs, and they send out loads of particulates. So it's really important that the logs are left to dry. These ones are soaking wet. These are going to be stored up here and used next year. Okay, so the fire's going now. So up here we have a thermometer, temperature gauge, which is 60 at the moment, but we're going to get that up to at least 90. And then the tank, which is 1,500 litres, once that's hot, that will last us. If we're just talking about the hot water, with showers and baths, that'll last us almost a week. And then we don't have to light the fire again, and we just have hot water in the house, which is amazing. The other thing back here, we have an immersion in here. So during the summer months, it hasn't been set on yet. We'll have to do a whole new video on this. Back here there's an immersion, and in the summer when our batteries get fully charged from the solar panels, it switches on the immersion. So we'll then get all the heat from the sun to heat this up. But yeah, we haven't tried that yet, so that's a whole other video. I'm going to be a little bit more scientific. We've got a nice big wheelbarrow of seasoned ash logs, and we're going to see how much that raises the temperature of the 1500 litre tank. While that's all heating up, I'll show you what's happening in the back of the tank. Number of pipes here. The heating engineer did all this. It's way beyond what I can do. But there down at the bottom, you can see that there are there are 3 pipes going into the ground. Those pipes go from the boiler shed all the way under the ground, 25 meters, all the way to the house. Those pipes then come out of the ground and up into the house. We went for, rather than spending a huge amount of money on pre-insulated pipes, we did a sort of DIY approach with insulation that goes around each pipe and put into ducts. This saved us thousands, and I've no idea whether it's way worse than the manufactured ones or not, but we just decided to do that because we didn't have the money at the time. Those pipes come into the house via a heating pump, pumps it into this, which is a heat exchange, 7 kilowatt heat exchange, and that heat exchange is fitted, as you can see, all these pipes here, is fitted into the mechanical ventilation system. A mechanical ventilation system, or MVHR, is a way of getting fresh air into your house. Every house needs to have fresh air, otherwise things will go horribly wrong, especially if your house is very airtight. And it's super efficient. It sucks out stale air, heats up the fresh air coming into the house. So it's the most efficient way to keep your house warm, particularly if it's not vented. Okay, we're in the kitchen. We have one air vent up here, which is sucking stale air out of the house. And then down here, I haven't finished this yet, there should be a nice grill here. But now we have fresh air coming back into the house, which is heated from the heat exchanger, so it feels slightly warm. Because we're talking about heating, we also have to talk about this. This is wall thickness, this is insulation, this is biodegradable insulation, and it's super important to keep your house warm. It's by far the most important thing because you don't need so many logs. This is all made from biodegradable insulation, and it's up to Passive House standards, and I'll do a whole other video on that another time. So does the system work? As you can see, we've fitted a log burner as well. We always wanted to have a log burner because we have a cabin in the middle of the woods, so that's really nice. Domino's favourite place here. The mechanical ventilation with the heat exchanger hasn't worked as well as I thought, and having looked into it more since, it seems that using hot air to push heat around the house isn't the most efficient way to do it. You feel that there was warm air coming out of those vents, but sometimes the heat just isn't there. This seems to be far better at getting the house warmer, and possibly even a bigger one of these just to heat it up quickly. For the hot water, it works amazingly and seems really efficient. What we're going to do is fit some radiators. We're going to stick a towel radiator in the bathroom, which is quite easy to do, and we're going to stick some radiators further down in the girls' bedrooms. There are just some other really cold areas. The corridor here always seems to be cold, not sure, but once we get some radiators, hopefully that'll sort out this funny cold corridor. That's the end of this video. Please like, subscribe, maybe get radiators. I promise the next videos will be a bit more fun. This seemed pretty dull and technical. But yeah, fire away any questions. See you next time.